Giannis Antetokounmpo made a few really impressive plays, 4 to be exact, to close out the Knicks in their recent win over them, and we're going to break all 4 of them down, and I think they really do a good job exemplifying why he is playing like the MVP of the league through 3 or 4 games. Let's not get too carried away, but 2 of these plays I think are pretty complex and showcase his growth, and 2 are just Giannis being Giannis. But if you're enjoying the NBA content, please like, comment, subscribe. All will be so appreciated. I really do appreciate all the support recently. The channel's been doing super well, and I have all of you wonderful people to thank. So again, appreciate y'all. Let's get to 150 likes on this one. Let's get ambitious. But up 4. 3:48 in the game. Giannis going to throw a beautiful pass to Miles Turner right there over the post double team. And this was the Knicks' plan for Giannis for most of the game. If he's posting up, we're sending a second body at him, and we're getting everyone else packing the paint. We'll give the Bucks threes, right? Mikal will hug down on Miles. It's like, okay, you can have that skip past AJ Green. You can have a kick out to Gary Trent or to Ryan Rollins. But nope, Giannis knows and has the vision, the confidence to know that Miles is bigger than Mikal, that he can throw it up to his big target, and Miles, who had a really strong game in this one, goes up and get it. And I think at this point, most people probably understand the caliber of playmaker Giannis Antetokounmpo is. Like 190th percentile assist for his position over the last, basically his entire career as a star ever since he was a rookie. And just looking at the playmaking numbers, he is on the ball more than ever, interestingly. And Giannis is leading the best half-court offense in the league by like a gazillion percent. It's obviously small sample size cheese, and they never get offensive rebounds, so they don't really get to play in the half-court as much as they otherwise could. But yeah, Giannis, I think most people understand like what level of ridiculous playmaker he is now. Like this was the craziest pass of the season from him so far. He gets a pick and roll from Ryan Rollins, who's been spectacular, by the way. He deserves his own video. Giannis behind his back, short roll out to Miles for 3. Absolutely beautiful pass. Like, he is a ridiculously high-level passer who can make these crazy good plays off on the move, and especially in the fourth quarter when it matters, when teams are going to, again, load up on him. Even though there's not an immediate double team right here, it's coming from the backside this time, right? Instead of the front side it came in the Knicks game. And Giannis just waits, and drops it in a tiny window to Bobby Portis, right? This is not an easy pass. Craig Porter Jr. is lurking. Donovan Mitchell is lurking. He has 2 defenders surrounding him, and he still threads it into his big man for a layup. Like, Giannis is a legitimately elite passer with no caveats necessary at this point, who can, obviously create advantages. And his handle is so good now. He can hesitate, he can change speeds, explode past Jakob Poeltl, lay the ball down at the end of the clock. I mean, he is a phenomenal playmaker at this point, and he put that on display early in that Bucks game. And Giannis as well, getting to the second play, the Bucks 107 to 103 right here, 105 to 109 a couple minutes later, still 4 points. Giannis this time a beautiful fadeaway against OG Anunoby. He's really expanded his mid-range game over the last couple years, and I love that he can bump his shoulder, like drop into OG, create some backward space, and he's just so giant, and he's gotten really good on these fadeaway shots. He's barely actually taken any of these short mid-range jumpers this year, but I think part of that is just because he is Giannis Antetokounmpo and doesn't really need to. Like, he took a bunch of mid-range jumpers last year, especially in the postseason. I think we saw this become an important counter for him, where teams are going to wall him off. They're going to do everything they can to sell out, to stop him from getting to the basket. And Giannis has developed this ability to kind of drop his chest into players, turn with his great footwork, and just shoot over basically anyone. He was pretty efficient in the short mid-range and in the long mid-range last year, which we'll get to. This time against Pascal, just bumping him, generating a little space. Nobody is contesting that shot, and players don't even bother because they know they can't. Giannis has also got this like walk-up 17-foot pull-up, though this isn't always my favorite shot of his, and he's really cut that out this year. Like, he is spamming shots at the rim like crazy. I think he's like pretty much on historic rim volume pace. And like he's taking a couple of these pull-up jumpers. And again, when you're Giannis and you can get to the basket and draw fouls or get a layup whenever, it's just like you're bailing the defense out when you're shooting a pull-up like that. There is some level of keeping them honest for sure. But like elbow get pick and roll right here, this is frankly a mismatch going downhill, and Giannis settles for a tough airball pull-up. But that hasn't been a big part of his game. Back to the fourth quarter of the Knicks game right here, and I had to shout. This is an offense video, but shout out to this Chase Hunt block. It was not a good Giannis defense game. Don't get me wrong, but that was a beautiful play. Bucks 7-point lead right here, just trying to close it off. And this is where we see the easy stuff. Just a wide open kick out to Gary Trent. You might ask yourself, how the hell is someone so wide open? You're down 7 with a minute left, 3 seconds in the shot clock. Like, is it just really bad defense from the Knicks? And partly, it's Giannis's gravity, right? Like, he doesn't need to do all that crazy stuff as a passer to make assists, right? Good job by Giannis here reading that the Knicks were sending help at the nail, this elbow area all day. Cat doesn't get out right here or recognize that he's the wing now. He needs to be aware of that. And then nobody gets out for 3. There's no communication. And that was poor defense from the Knicks. But part of it is just Giannis's gravity. And so many of Giannis's assists, like we did see the crazy passes I showed earlier, but so many of his assists this year are just stuff like this. And credit to Doc Rivers and the Buck staff. Darvin Ham, shout out to Darvin Ham, who I think before the end of his Lakers tenure towards the end was really doing a good job at creating an offensive identity for that team around like playing inside and post-ups and stuff like that. But with this like Helio Giannis ball, go screen for AJ Green, who's an absolute monster. Love him. Mikhail has to show for a second on Giannis because you have to show 2 bodies at Giannis, and when you have an elite shooter as a screener, that's really deadly simple action and just like a very basic assist for Giannis that is more just a showcase of how powerful his gravity is. Same with this short roll pass where he's again playing as a connective passer and again highlight the subtle stuff that the Bucks are doing. They know that the Knicks are spamming this nail defense, right? They're always having a player at the elbow to be there when Giannis catches the ball, right? And Mikhail's stunting and recovering. This is just a show. But in a regular man defense, right, when the Bucks switch, you have Mikhail stay with AJ Green and Towns stay with Miles Turner. But because of this dig, this nail help that the Knicks were doing all game, this basically turns into a zone on the weak side for Miles Turner, which totally scrambles him, gets AJ Green wide open. Giannis processes it, and there's been a lot of these easy buttons in the offense that I just don't think the Bucks have always incorporated. Also, this particular lineup is just really, really good. Ryan Rollins playing at a high level, Miles is spacing 5, and he's more athletic and more mobile than Brook. Gary Trent and AJ Green are just good complementary players, and they're just simple play. Giannis isolating in the middle of the floor. Look at the wall the Knicks have to build with 2 guys in the back, and that leaves wide open shooters. But it's not just kicking out for a corner 3, it's making it difficult for the defense to recover. There's 2 ways you do this. One, you set the flare, right? So you actually have to fight through a screen if you're Jalen Brunson. And then Trent fills towards the top of the key. Because if he just stands there, right, the spacing is clogged, it's easier to get 2v1. So like the Bucks don't have a crazy amount of talent on offense, but they're playing really good, solid basketball. And overall, I've just been a big fan of like their principles and their movement and their spacing. And yeah, when you're Giannis and players are just going to double team you all the time, even when Scotty Barnes, their best perimeter defender, probably is the one guarding you, they'll just double in transition. He's going to bounce pass it to, again, an elite top echelon shooter at AJ Green that teams are just willing to sag off of because it's a better option than Giannis just destroying them. And to the fourth and final play of this Knicks game, the Bucks, this game's basically over. Knicks desperately trying to get back into it. They do end up scoring, but yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns pressing Giannis out to half court is not going to go well by any means right there. And this is the stuff that makes Giannis, like, this is the bedrock of his elite game, right? Like, you cannot mess up your coverages against him. If you get a cross match in early offense, Cat forced to press. And part of what makes Giannis, I think, such a weapon in the modern NBA too is defenses love to press. They love to play tight coverage. And Giannis just destroys that. You cannot afford to give him a head of steam. And he has been an absolute monster in the open floor. Again, look, a cross match right here in transition. You want Mobley on Giannis probably in this lineup, but it's DeAndre Hunter instead. And it's absolutely over. There's nothing anybody can do, not even the defensive player of the year, Evan Mobley. Giannis is too big, too strong, too long, too good at getting to the rim. And again, we see good offense here with a little screen from AJ. Another little thing I like from AJ is that he will make contact on screens. Like, most guards will just always slip out. He will actually set screens and get Giannis a little downhill head of steam. And of course, once he's going downhill, he is completely unstoppable. And that is the trump card that makes his whole game that defenses have to account for. That you just have this guy who can walk to the basket and create paint touches. And Giannis, of course, has been doing it his whole career, but is doing it as high a level as ever and with more ancillary skills. And this is a great example of, again, the defensive meta becoming pressure. Like, you can't pressure Giannis, because if this happens, if Bobby Portis screens off Scotty Barnes, this play is over. Like, sorry, Jakob Poeltl, you're not stopping Giannis and drop. Like, I don't know if he believed that he could do that himself. Like, it's just not a thing you can do against Giannis, and yet teams will do it, I think, and will get destroyed for it. And yeah, Alex Sarr is going to be a good defender in the long run, but Giannis is Giannis, and I think all you really got to see, right? 4 MVP level plays, elite high level passing, skilled footwork and touch shot making, but also the ability to create easy shots for himself and for others. And I think that's the hallmark of these true offensive engine MVP level players, right? They can do all the hard stuff. They have the high level passing vision, the handles, the skill to make tough shots, but ultimately they generate easy shots for themselves and for their teammates, and Giannis does that. And I think, I'd probably give him the MVP if the season was over after 3 or 4 games, but thankfully it's not, so we can have more data and actually do real stuff. This is like all small sample and mostly for fun, but wanted to break down how Giannis is having one of the best years of his career so far. So let me know what you think, and have a great day.